If you look at the ghees, you will understand. See, 100 ml of A2 ghee is anywhere between 320 to 400 rupees for 100 grams. All
Yes.
right. Normal ghee, you will get it for 40 to 60 rupees.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And funny part is the ghee does not have, it has 0.01% of protein if it is there.
Yes.
So what's the benefit? What's the difference between A1 and A2? Nobody knows.
No.
There are many methods to make ghee. I'm not contesting that. There are many ways to make ghee. There are many ways to get, pure ghee or the extract. But ghee is ghee, it's just fat, right? It has a certain amount of minerals in it. As long as there are no impurities in it, it's still ghee. So you see why I feel that many of the companies have a very huge stake in this, because their returns are multifold.
Yes.
If you look at the FSSAI, Packaged Food Act and all the different acts which are there, you won't find any distinction between A1 and A2 milk. It's simply not mentioned in their in the database.
Yes.
So when they don't have that information published somewhere, see,
Yes.
I might know what A2 milk is, you might know. But if there is no written law or no written description of it, it becomes difficult to regulate it, right?
Yeah.
So that is why I think they wanted to regulate it, and till then they wanted to stop these claims.
Hello and welcome to Southfirst. I am Sumit Jha. The Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, FSSAI's recent regulatory decisions on A1 and A2 milk labeling has ignited a debate in the country. The issue began on 21st August 2024 when FSSAI directed food businesses, including e-commerce platforms, to remove misleading claims regarding A1 and A2 milk and milk products from their packaging. However, 5 days later, on 26th August, the FSSAI reversed the order, citing the need for further consultation and engagement. This swift imposition and subsequent reversal have brought renewed attention to the science behind different types of milk, particularly AA1 and A2, and their implications on health, consumer choices, as well as the market dynamics. Right now, we have with us Dr. Aman Sheikh Basheer. He is the co-founder and chief medical officer at TruthIn and Natfirst, a B2C and B2B FMCG consumer nutrition and retail intelligence platform developed in Hyderabad. Welcome, Dr. Aman. Welcome to Southfirst.
Thank you so much, Ja. So, like you already, you've already introduced me, but I'll just tell you that I am a dentist and I've done my master's in maxillofacial surgery. But for the past decade, I've been working in the health tech space and developing nutritional algorithms and information to help consumers understand nutrition better. Right. So NatFirst, our company, mainly focuses on packaged food and healthcare. Personal care products, etc. And what we do is we give consumers insights.
For the layman who doesn't understand these terminologies A1 and A2, could you explain the fundamental difference between A1 and A2 milk from nutritional and health perspective?
I'll simplify it for you because I always do it for my consumers as well. So basic difference between A1 and A2 milk is that there milk has many components. One of the components is the protein component. In the protein component, there are two basic types of protein. There are many actually, but there are two main types of protein. One is called casein and the other one is called whey, right? So in casein, there is one type which is called as beta. That beta casein is different when it comes from different cows, right? So many of the indigenous cows, the cows that are native to India, they are naturally A2 cows. It means that they have that A2 type of beta casein. But When you look at the other cows which are coming from, say, abroad, a lot of other cow breeds, they have A1. Now, what has happened over the past few decades, or the past century, is many cows were imported from abroad because we wanted more output of milk, or because when the Britishers were here, they got some different species, and all those species interbred. So right now, the composition of the original local indigenous cows is very low. The claims are between 20 to 30%. So A2 milk, they claim, is produced by about 20 to 30% cows, out of which only 10% are pure indigenous cows, according to Mr. Venugopal, right? And now, for an average consumer, what is this A2, A1? How does it make a difference to me? Well, the difference is very simple. A2 milk is, observational studies have shown that, they are very good for weaning children. So very young infants, when they leave the mother's milk and they are getting onto cow's milk, it's easier for them to digest, and it does not cause gastric issues.
Okay.
Another thing is for people who have some issues with their stomach, or who have digestive concerns, elderly people, or people who have some other known diseases which cause digestive issues. For them, A2 milk is very helpful.
The FSSAI's decision to regulate A1 and A2 labeling, followed by its reversal, has left many people confused. What do you think prompted these swift changes, and how do you see the policy regulation in this context?
So see, policy regulation, FSSAI is the supreme authority and the governing body for all regulations concerning food in
Yes.
India, right? Now, they have an enormous job because, see, India is huge and it's so diverse. Every area has its own different needs, etc. And because of this issue, what happens is that many times, when the policies come in, they might not gel, or it might look like they're not gelling. But I personally feel that FSSAI should work in conjunction with the other ministries, and the Indian Council for Agriculture Research. They have been working with cattle for so long. They have an idea of what indigenous cow species are there in India, how much amount of A2 milk is being produced, and how to correctly identify that A2 milk.
Okay. Yeah.
So because they're the experts, right? They're actually working with the cows and the cattle and the buffaloes, etc., and they have the thing. So FSSAI should definitely have connected with them, or other agencies which are more experts on A2 milk, and then they could have taken a decision. See, I do believe that them saying that A2 ghee and butter, yeah, I totally am with them for that. But for milk, I think that we need to be more in sync with the other agencies that work in the government. Again, it's my personal opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this labeling affect the consumer choices, or it is just that people are just buying the milk, or they are also looking into these factors of A1, A2 milk? Is there consumer demand for this, in your opinion?
There is a huge consumer demand, and this consumer demand is driven by, I won't say fear mongering. Fear mongering is too strong a word, but I would say, the concern that normal milk is just, it can be harmful. There is a better milk called A2 milk, and this milk will be, better for your family, even though it's almost twice the price, or comes to almost one and a half, or twice the price.
Yes.
So I feel that, it could be a marketing. It's definitely helpful for a certain section of the population. It's helpful for weaning kids, or the young ones, for elderly people, for people who have immune compromises, especially when it relates to their digestive tract. digestion, etc. But not for the average person. Average person can definitely have A1 milk also, and it's not going to cause a big problem. There is one peptide which is implicated. It's the BCM7 peptide which
Yes.
is formed.
Mm.
And that peptide is what everyone is worried about. But
Mm.
see, if you've been having milk till now and you
Mm.
have never had any gastric effect,
Mm.
any problems, you can continue to have it.
Okay.
Yes, if you are having digestive problems, gastric problems after consuming milk, you can identify that. Then, if you switch to A2, it may be helpful. Again, I'm saying may be helpful because there is no conclusive scientific evidence based on human cohort studies which shows that it is helpful.
Do you think the public has enough information to make an informed choice between A1 and A2 milk?
As you know, we are just seeing this trend of A2 in India, at least for the past 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And prior to that, yeah, in Australia, they made a huge business out of it right from the year 2000 when A2 Milk Company was launched, with special cow breeds and them saying all this, that it can be harmful, etc. So we'll limit our talk to India. And in India, in the past 4-5 years, A2 has gained very notoriety. And I think people are trying to cash in on that. People need to understand how A1 milk may harm them. But again, it should come from the government. It shouldn't be coming from people who are not experts. It should come from FSSAI or ICMR or even ICAR. They have better idea. They have better studies done. They actually work with the material. So they should be giving the correct information.
Do you think that before making such decisions on regulations, there should be more comprehensive studies on the products? The FSSAI's back and forth on A1 and A2 labeling left the public confused. What's your take on how this situation was handled?
No. See, I think FSSAI's second, notification which they passed, and they said that we want to have more talks with the stakeholders and understand this, and then reply to things. I think that is an excellent move because stakeholders' involvement is what will help us get more clarity into it.
Okay.
Right.
Hmm.
And I hope that the stakeholders give their correct inputs and we are able to regulate it in a way that the average consumer understands that I don't have a problem consuming normal milk. I can continue to consume A1 milk, right? If I have a problem or if I have somebody at home who needs this special A2 milk, I have a choice. I can buy that milk. And I know that A2 milk, which is marked as A2, has actually been tested and it is verified that it is A2.
Okay.
That is important.
Recently, the regulation has made it had put public in confusion that, okay, FSSI itself said that, okay, let's ban it. On other day, they said, okay, no, let's leave it right now. So how do you see this?
No, see, I understand the confusion. I was also very surprised on 21st when they put this. I was like, okay. And then 26th when they changed that, I was like, all right. But if you look at the things, right, I think the person who initially or the officials who initially, their intention was not to harm people. Their intention was to make it more clear so that companies don't take advantage by putting in false claims, right?
Yes.
And because see, the food policy, if you look at the FSSAI packaged food act and all the different acts which are there, you won't find any distinction between A1 and A2 milk. It's simply not mentioned in their in the database.
Yes.
So when they don't have that information published somewhere, see,
Yes.
I might know what A2 milk is, you might know. But if there is no written law or no written description of it, it becomes difficult to regulate it, right?
Yeah.
So that is why I think they wanted to regulate it. Until then, they wanted to stop these claims. See, if you look at the ghees, you'll understand. See, 100 ml of A2 ghee is anywhere between 320 to 400 rupees for 100 grams. All
Yes.
right. Normal ghee, you will get it for 40 to 60 rupees.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And funny part is the ghee does not have, it has 0.01% of protein if it is there.
Yes.
So what's the benefit? What's the difference between A1 and A2? Nobody knows.
No.
There are many methods to make ghee. I'm not contesting that. There are many ways to make ghee. There are many ways to get, pure ghee or the extract. But ghee is ghee, it's just fat, right? It has a certain amount of minerals in it. As long as there are no impurities in it, it's still ghee.
So,
So you see why I feel that many of the companies have
mhm.
a very huge stake in this because their returns are multifold.
Yes.
How do India's regulatory actions on milk labeling compare with international standard? Are there lessons to be learned from global practices in this area?
India is a very populous country, right? It has one of the largest populations in the world. Comparing a country which is so heavily populated with other developed Western countries is itself wrong because they're not at the same boat. One is an apple, one is an orange,
Yes.
right? But still, if you want to compare, yes, we are not comparing it on the same grounds. We are comparing it on a different ground. And when we are comparing, we have to see the amount of resources, money, expertise, university university help which goes to those organizations like FDA or
Yes.
EFSA for
You
Europe or other organizations is much higher compared to what goes into India's,
Yeah.
right? So based on all that, I would say our regulations are top notch. Implementation is
Mm.
something that needs to be done in a methodical manner.
Okay. Do you believe the A1 and A2 distinctions should play an important role in public health is concerned? How significant is this compared to other dietary consideration?
I see, again, it depends on from which direction you're looking at it. See, everything has a reasoning behind it. If I'm talking about the general public in India, if I'm talking about the average consumer, A2 milk does not play a role for an average consumer. A2
Yes.
milk and A2 ghee, etc., are for niche consumers who have special requirements, or who feel they have special requirements. But for an average consumer who is finding it difficult to buy normal milk every day for his family, if he is asked to pay double the amount
Yes.
for a better milk, I don't think he would be interested in that. I
Okay.
think he
Yes.
would be
Yes.
more happy. He would be more happy if the regular milk which is available to him, if government can certify that yes, it's pure, or
Mhm.
if some body can say that okay, it's pure, it's not harmful for you, it's good for you, you can continue to take it. Yes, if you have some issues, here is an alternative. Here is A2 milk, which is easier to digest, has some additional benefits like this, and you are free to have it, but it will be 1.5 times to two times more expensive than the regular milk. Then
Yeah.
you're given an option. So in a country like India, where you can buy bread for 20 rupees and you can buy artisanal bread for 200 rupees,
Yeah.
options are everywhere.
Obviously, like resources, we need like there are very less resources for the public in our country, and yeah, they have to navigate a lot to reach
Yes,
a level where they have to make a decision regarding A1 and A2. Uh,
correct.
okay, so last question. What advice would you give a consumer looking to navigate the often confusing landscape of milk and health-related claims? There are multiple claims related to milk that, okay, you take this milk, you will get benefit. You take this, you will get benefit. There are, and in the age of social media, it has increased a lot. So, any advice for the general public related to milk and health claims?
Sure. So my advice to anyone, not just the general public, anyone who is wanting to buy, know who you are listening to, right? So let the experts give you the expertise.
Yes.
Don't listen to someone just because they are popular or have done one something somewhere. It's similar to many of the actors actresses selling things which they are not, which are not good for you.
Yes.
They are not good for you, but you still buy it because you apparently see a very famous person having that. Same way, it has now come into food. I personally feel that we should leave the expertise to the experts,
Okay.
right? Because they have trained for it, they have the certification for it, they have the qualification and the experience to talk about it. So experts should be consulted, and if you're following an expert, there should be no issue, and no expert will ever give you wrong advice. See,
Yes.
an influencer or a person who is just trying to up his game or sell some product to you will definitely say ye kha lo, isme every sab chale jayega, cancer ka hal hai, iska hal hai, uska. But agar wo sahi hota to aaj tak we won't have any
Yes.
issues at all. I'm sorry, I switched to Hindi there.
No, it's okay. It's fine, definitely. Because we more than the stars now, influencers are more into advertising, and they are selling more products than the film stars or cricketers. So yeah, obviously, your advice is quite apparent to give it to the public. Thank you, Dr. Aman. Thank you for speaking to Southfirst.
Sure. Yes, it was great to speak to you, man. Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope to connect again. Take care.